Hello students, a very good afternoon to all of you. Myself Devesh Singh. In this video, we are going to study chapter first from history, and for a few days we are studying this chapter, the rise of nationalism in Europe. So, in the sequence of this chapter, our topic is the making of nationalism in Europe. First of all, when we read this topic, we get some values related to Napoleon, as in the last class of chapter first history you have studied about Napoleon's and some good step that is very famous in history taken by Napoleon. Here you have to remember some important points like that. In 1797, Napoleon invades Italy. नेपोलियनिक वार बिगिन मीन्स नेपोलियनिक वार कब शुरू होता है, अगर इसकी बात आती है तो आपको याद रखना है द पीरियड वाज 1797। और इसी टाइम में इसी पीरियड में नेपोलियन ने इटली पर इन्वाइट किया था, आक्रमण किया था। 1814 टू 1815 it is the period known as the fall of Napoleon. Fall of Napoleon. Now, as about the Napoleon and other factors that supports the nationalism in Europe. First of all, when we read that in mid 18th century, we find that in Europe there were no nation state. As like that, today many nation states are spreading for counting, but in the mid 18th century you will find no nation state. What we know today as Germany, Italy, and Switzerland were divided into kingdom, and at that time, as we know that the great country Germany, Italy, and Switzerland, these countries were divided into kingdom, and duchies and cantons were the rulers who ruled there in their autonomous territories. Autonomous means स्वदेशी होता है। Autonomous territories. Eastern and Central Europe were under autocratic monarchies, or at that time, especially in the east side and in the Central Europe, there was the rule of autocratic monarchies. ऑटोक्रेटिक आप समझते हैं एक तंत्र की जहाँ शासन काल होती है, निरंकुश शासनवाद जहाँ होता है, मोनार्की सिस्टम मीन्स किंग की जो प्रिंसली स्टेट्स जैसे जी चीज़ें होती हैं उसको ऑटोक्रेटिक मोनार्कीज बोलते हैं। विद इन द टेरिटरीज ऑफ विच लिव डाइवर्स पीपल एंड इन दोज कंट्री वेयर aristocratic monarchies, many diverse peoples also live there. Those people didn't see themselves as sharing a collective identity or a common culture. Means they had common culture. They had something unique and similar, but those people didn't share their identity. Often they even spoke different languages and belonged to different ethnic groups. After such type of similarity in their culture, in their civilization, in their identity, after that those people spoke, many people, big communities spoke English, and they belong to different ethnic group, be, belong to different ethnic group. Here, students, you have to remember a very important point as I'm going to tell you. The Habsburg Empire that ruled over Austria-Hungary. Here, uh, you can get a question that what was the name of the empire which ruled over Austria and Hungary? Then your answer will be Habsburg Empire. For example, was a patchwork of many different regions and people. It included the Alpine regions. Now, this is also important for you. Which countries were included the Alpine region? You have to remember here the Tyrol, Austria, Sudetenland, as well as Bohemia, where the aristocracy was predominantly German speaking. Means in these countries include with Alpine regions where aristocracy, but they were German speaking. You have to remember this point. In the Alpine region, there were four countries: Tyrol, Austria, Sudetenland, and Bohemia, and there was aristocratic monarchy, and the peoples of those particular country spoke uh, German. It also included the Italian speaking provinces of Lombardy and Venetia. In this sequence, these European countries were also included with the Italian speaking provinces जो states होते हैं, छोटे राज्य होते हैं. There were some states, some province where is Italian speakers were present, and these countries were Lombardy and Venetia. Now, this is the term of Hungary. Half of the population spoke Magyar, while the other half spoke a variety of dialects. In Hungary, there were two types of languages. Half of the people in Hungary spoke Magyar, while the other half people spoke their variety of dialects. In Galicia, the aristocracy spoke Polish. Here is also important MCQ question for you students. In Galicia, if there will be a question in which country the aristocracy spoke Polish. Polish means पोलैंड वाले जो होते हैं, जो पोलैंड के लोग होते हैं, उनकी लैंग्वेज को पॉलिश लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं, और उन लोगों को पॉलिश बोलते हैं, पॉलिश लोग. ठीक है. तो गैलिसिया एक कंट्री है जहाँ पे जो एरिस्टोक्रेसी थे और पॉलिश लैंग्वेज बोलते थे. Beside these three dominant groups, they also lived within the boundary of the empire. A mass of subject, peasant peoples, Bohemians and Slovaks to the north. Here, beside these three dominant groups, in these three dominant groups, they also lived within the boundary of the empire. And boundary of the empire of the Europe, there were also some countries. There were the special, the big population was of peasant people, Bohemians and Slovaks. These were situated, they lived in the north side, and in the south side Slovenes in Cornualla and uh, Croats type of uh, scheduled caste and type of many peoples lived in the south of the European Empire, and Romans were also lived in the east side of Transylvania. The such differences did not easily promote a sense of political unity. There were a lot of difference. As you have read here that uh, there were different type of language, various type of their land boundaries, and after that, uh, the differences didn't promote the sense of political unity, and the only tie binding this diverse group together was a common allegiance to the emperor. Common allegiance to the emperor. Okay, means you can understand here the diverse group of peoples तात्पर्य है कि भिन्न भिन्न प्रकार के लोग, अलग अलग समुदाय की, अलग अलग लैंग्वेज के, रिलीजन्स के, ये जो लोग हैं ये टुगेदर वाज ए कॉमन एलिजेंस टू द एम्परर। एम्परर के लिए लोग एक कॉमन रूप में कॉमन एलिजेंस बना करके ये रहते थे। मीन्स यू कैन से दैट from the outside of the country maybe they were diverse, there was great diversity, but when that we talk about the internal side, at that time we find there was a great unity in the European Empire. So this was the big matter there, and the unity shows their strength, and also it refers a proverb, unity in diversity. Unity in diversity.